Welcome back to Filmonomics as Slated. I'm Steph Paterno, and continuing on from our last segment, which had to do with sourcing of material, we wanted to know from our panelists, who are now inundated with record amounts of scripts and film packages, how do they deal with it? And what's their process for triaging through all this material and assigning it to their teams of readers? And did you know that they only read on weekends? That essentially means they haven't had a free weekend in their entire careers. So let's go hear from them on this question of how do they sort through and read all of your material?
We have weekend reads, so the projects start coming in, and then in my particular case, we have 3 people who read. I read, we have a younger female read, and then we have a young male read, because I felt that that was really an important demographic that we need to hit. And we divide up the projects. And for the most part, there'll be 20 odd projects for weekend read. And then we just read. And the ones that are good come very quickly to the top.
I'm just doing the maths here. 20 projects,
yes,
an hour and a half, so it's reading.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I haven't had a week. I mean, seriously, most weekends are 5 or 6 scripts, so it's a big chunk of your weekend. If a script is a good script, if it's a well-written script, it rises to the top very quickly, and it's a pleasure. You'll have weekends where you read 5 or 6 projects, and you don't have any positive response to any of them, and that feels like a wasted weekend to me. And then you'll have one that just shines.
I think Slated is interesting in a lot of different respects, but I think in this particular one, it'll really shine as people start using the platform more. Something that's kind of invisible, like what you want as a filmmaker is to get on everyone's weekend read, right? So how do you do that? There are tastemakers in this town. And if they pitch something in a staff meeting, whether they work at a management company or an agency or a studio or whatever, if they say something's great, everyone writes it down in their notebook. You can see it happening around the room. And the next weekend, people are reading it. And you have to know like what those pressure points are. And it's like this mysterious process. It just happened to me last week with something that I have, and it's been great. I've been getting a lot of incoming calls because it only took one person, and it was the right person to mention it in the right meeting in front of 74 other people, and it's been great. But I think with Slated, with the scoring system and with like all the things that they're doing, like there's just transparency. And you can filter through it in a way that doesn't require, 4 people talking on Friday and again on Monday and reading for, 45 hours cumulatively just to get through it and make a decision. And I think that sounds like such a small thing, but this industry is based on filters. But it happens over coffee, it happens over drinks, it happens human to human. And I think I'm fascinated by what will happen digitally. I can't say more than that because I almost don't know what will happen, but it's got to be more efficient than what we're doing right now.
Do you read scripts?
I do, but first I rely on the filters to filter them because I have a lot of other things I have to do as a banker, so I cannot spend my entire week reading scripts. I read the ones that come to me through the various, filters, i.e. sales agents, packaging agents, so on and so forth. Again, when we receive the scripts or the projects, they're not scripts, we receive projects that are already packaged. We don't usually get them at the script stage because there's nothing for us really to do with them at that point. I read the script just because, again, I like to know what we're financing, and for me, it's a gut reaction. Again, it's either the script is well written from my perspective, or it's really not. And again, it's not really, I don't rely on that completely in my decision-making process. For me, it's just more to understand and know what it is I'm financing, and I'd like to make sure that, you know, what I am financing is something that I feel comfortable with or proud of. But really, I leave that up to the people the professionals who really are there to do that and to weed out the scripts.
I'll prioritize it based on the package and also from my old job, who pitched it in the room. And once I have the script in front of me, I'm really just this sounds so corny. I'd really just look for a feeling. If I can't turn the pages fast enough when I'm reading, I know that I've got something that I just have to act on Saturday. Like, I won't wait till Monday. I'll email people. I don't care if they email me back or not. Like, I want them to know that I was interested enough on a Saturday to reach out to them and tell them that I want to be a part of this if I was selling it, or now, I want to buy it.
How many times a year does that happen?
Like, never. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'd say it happens like 5-6 times a year, and I'm reading 20 scripts a weekend.
And Lisa?
A couple of times a year. A couple of times a year. And, we are, I suppose, quite unusual in that we read ourselves. A lot of companies have readers who read. And when I was at GK, for example, there was a script that came in from a producer who's a friend of mine that I thought was absolutely fantastic, really commercial. I thought we could have put a really big actor in it. And the reader didn't like it. And so it got thrown out. And P.S. Ben Affleck just finished it for Warner Brothers. And because the reader didn't like it, that was it. It got killed.
And was just one reader?
One reader who was a reader that was a favorite reader over there. I really think, for me, from an international perspective, some guy who's never traveled outside of Van Nuys, I don't want him choosing what I'm selling.
Well, I don't know about you, but I feel sorry for those gatekeepers knowing they each have to look at 20 scripts per weekend and haven't had a free weekend for the last, since their careers have started. And in all likelihood, I think that most of these gatekeepers are reading the same material. So there's massive duplication of effort going on. And they're drowning and they don't know how to get themselves out of it. Well, that actually reminds me of how festivals used to deal with it when they were getting 4,000 or 5,000 films submitted to them every year. And you as a filmmaker, just as I used to be a producer, I was packaging up my film with the right marketing material and still photographs, trying to put my best foot forward and package it up and mail it off to every single festival. There was cost, effort, and duplication of effort for all these different festivals. Well, Without a Box helped simplify that dramatically. And all the festivals now require you to apply through Without a Box to get in there. And we think there are a number of benefits to doing the same thing for script analysis. Now, we just launched these new services on Slated, script analysis and financial projections, and we believe that the way we are doing it is the right way. As you heard, you don't want your material just being reviewed by one reader, because one reader might reject some incredible material, as one of our panelists discovered. So we've taken the approach as well that every script has to be reviewed by 3 professionals. These are 3 these are 3 professionals who have worked in the industry as readers. Sometimes they are development executives who've had extensive experience reading hundreds of different scripts. But that isn't good enough for us. We've actually created a standardized training program to bring all of these professionals up to the same standard, so they all speak the same language. And we have 11 different criteria that every one of the scripts are reviewed by. That way, there's consistency across every single script analysis. You have averages across different readers' tastes. You have scores that are standardized. You have notes, including page numbers, that support every single score that are given to you, so that you have the most robust, objective measure of where you stand with your script. And you can then choose to improve your script if you want to, or if your script is scoring really well, you can share it with the world. And we give you the ability now to do that very efficiently, so it can get in front of the right industry gatekeepers a lot faster than it used to. So get onto Slated and give it a shot for yourself, and you'll see exactly what it can do for you. We'll be talking a little bit more about this and some of the other services we've rolled out in future segments. So until then, don't forget to subscribe. Over and out.